How's it going?
Good. How can I help you?
I actually think I can help you. I have what I'm hoping is a very, very old, very rare coin.
Cool.
I figured I'd come in and see if it's worth what I think it's worth, which is a substantial amount.
Okay. It sounds like you're in the sales business.
I actually know very little about the coin. I got it from a family member who purchased it at an auction about 30 years ago. The little bit of research that I did, the value is very extensive, so I'm kind of shooting for about 20 grand. I don't think it's unreasonable for me to ask for that.
Okay. I mean, this is really, really cool. How'd you get it?
From my understanding, it was purchased in auction 30 years ago. I got it in a will.
Okay. It's a little weird. I can guarantee you it's from the Eastern Mediterranean.
Okay.
And there's literally hundreds, if not over 1,000 coins like this. They're all from different city-states, different countries, Egypt, Greece, Sicily. You know, they put their own faces on it and everything else like that. But basically the same amount of silver, same weight. So it made trade really easy between those cities.
Right, that makes sense.
And that's one of the parts that gets confusing with these coins is dating them and figuring out which city it came from. There's tons of little ones, but the big ones like this, there's not a whole lot of them. What you have here can be worth a lot of money. These things go from anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000.
I could live with that.
But there's 500 fakes for every real one. A couple thousand years ago, cities were making their own coins. And most large coins like this didn't survive. When that city was conquered, they'd usually take all those coins, melt them down, and make their own coins. If this thing is real, I imagine it's pretty rare and could be worth a big chunk of change. How much do you want for it?
Completely honest, was hoping about 20 grand.
Okay.
And like you said, between 10 and 100, so I figure right now we're at the low end. I could probably go higher.
You know, my big concerns is like, it's in really good shape.
No, absolutely.
Okay, it's struck really well. Most of these coins, the figure on the front and these figures on the back are way off center because they had the coin dies and they put a silver slug in them and they stood back 5 feet with a 5-foot long hammer. And then they had to strike them a few times.
Okay.
So generally when it's too good to be true, I mean, there's a chance this could be real, but I'm assuming it's fake.
I firmly believe this one's real.
Okay.
Like, the person who had it actually was an avid collector, so I don't believe he would have had it if it was fake.
So do you have any paperwork with it?
I do not, no, not personally.
Let me have someone take a look at it. I have a friend of mine who this is basically what he deals with is ancient coins, and you need a guy much nerdier than I am to tell you everything about it.
I think you're doing pretty good as far as being a nerd, but if you want to bring in a better one, great.
Just give me 5 minutes. I'm going to someone
Sure,
call.
no problem, thank you. He's calling in an expert, which is only going to help my team. Like, I know this thing's real. I have a feeling that he's going to be pleasantly surprised.
This is the deal. Is it real?
Wow. The Syracuse decadrahm.
I just know there's like 500 fakes of these for every real one.
The decadrams of Syracuse are among the most sought after of all ancient coins. So if this is real, this is a home run.
What year?
400 to 360 BC, right in that range. Yeah.
Okay.
This is a chariot scene, crowning the victorious charioteer.
So who's the person on the front?
This lady is Arethusa, a water nymph. You know, fresh water was very important to the ancients, and they revered it, and they had nymphs that represented it.
Only he would know this.
You brought in a legit nerd, yes.
Yeah.
So is it real?
Let me take a look. If it's real, it's worth a pretty penny. Okay, I have news. It's absolutely genuine. Absolutely genuine.
That's awesome.
Okay.
All the features line up. It has great metal quality. The strike is excellent. And cast counterfeits have a soapy look to them. On this coin, everything was razor sharp.
How much money we got here?
This one looks to me like a solid $50,000.
Wow.
Almost right on the mark.
I might hug you.
In that case, it's fake. Yeah.
All right. You're the best, man.
All right, man. I know Rick loves these coins, and usually they're counterfeit. This one happens to be genuine, so if you can pick it up at the right price, I think it's a good purchase.
He set the price, so go ahead, that's fine.
No, I mean, that's what I can get out of it.
Right.
I'll give you 35 grand for it, which is more than you were looking to get for earlier. It's,
But then I'm leaving like
you're not leaving anything on the table. You know who's going to buy it for more?
not personally, but
Maybe 1 out of 1,000 people will spend $50,000 on a collectible something or the other.
I mean, 50,000 down to 35. I just believe that we can meet in the middle somewhere.
But you're in at nothing.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. But still, that's not, I mean,
Auctions cost money.
Right.
They're real creative with the fees. I mean, they're worse than banks. I'll tell you what, I'll give you 40 grand. Anything more than that makes 0 sense for me, and that's what you can get.
okay. 40,000's fair.
Okay, all right, cool, man, this is great.
Do I get one of those big checks?
No.
Although I could do the responsible thing and put the $40,000 towards college funds for the kids. Maybe we'll take a family vacation. There's nothing wrong with having a little bit of fun.
Hey, a rifle, huh?
Well, check it out.
Oh, it's not a rifle. That's a sword.
Yeah, sir. What I have is a very old sword. I got this from my grandfather. He recently passed away. He willed it to me. I don't know much about this sword, just that it's worth a lot of money. I'm hoping to get 40,000 from it. I really don't have much use for it, and I really don't think he would mind if I used it for a little bit of personal gain.
It looks pretty cool. Do you know what it is?
I'm actually not too sure. I know my grandfather got it at an auction. I just know that it's valuable. That's pretty much it, so.
At first glance, it's amazing. It's very ornate. It's got some very cool detail, like the head of Medusa, what looks like a lion right here, a date of 1810 on it with some Russian writing. Let's take it out here. Ooh, that's nice.
Careful, it is sharp.
Yeah. That's really weird right there. That's Arabic writing. I'm kind of puzzled here. I mean, it's got Arabic on the blade. It's got Russian writing right here. It's dressed up really nice and fancy, almost like a dress piece, you know what I mean? I'm just kind of at a loss here. What are you looking to do with it?
I'm looking to sell it.
And how much are you looking to get?
Well, I was looking for 40,000.
40,000 seems like a stretch to me. Do you know how much Grandpa paid for it?
Actually, don't. My uncle was telling me, though, that he did pay a pretty penny for it.
Well, this blade is so nice, and the sword is so ornate. It's too much going on here for me to decipher. I'd like to have someone come in and take a look at it, especially if you're asking money like $40,000.
Of course,
I
yeah.
mean,
I understand.
all right, let me get my guy Alex down here, and hopefully he knows something about this sword, at least more than you or I.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, give me a few minutes. I'll be right back.
Great. I'm very happy that an expert's coming in to take a look at it. I think that it would help me out knowing its value and kind of knowing a little more of the history. So even if I don't sell it today, it would help me out in the future.
It's not the Holy Grail, but this thing is pretty mysterious.
Wow, I know this sword.
At least one of us does.
This is actually, it's like a historically significant sword.
Really?
Do you mind if I touch it?
Go for it, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yep. So this sword belonged to a Russian prince. That name, Ivan Ivanovich Odevsky. He was a Hussar, and he was killed at the Battle of Brienne in France in January 1814 by Napoleon's troops.
Wow.
He was a war hero, and this guy gets killed with this sword on him.
Whoa.
So,
That's what I was confused about. It has an Arabic mark on the blade.
yeah, this Arabic writing means it came out of Persia, which wouldn't be uncommon for this. So this was built with the intention of being like a head of state sword, because this is about the finest blade you could put on it. And I mean, this thing is massive, and you can hold it and feel like,
It's got some weight to it.
yeah,
doesn't
and
it?
it's well balanced. So
It'll definitely take an arm off, that's
this
for sure.
was not just a ceremonial sword. This was also a battle sword.
But it does have a ceremonial feel to it,
Oh,
right?
you're completely right. It's about as fancy as they come. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, it's really second to none.
I've never seen you speechless.
It's just, you know, you hear about these things, you never really think you're gonna like walk in and see it.
What kind of value do you think this has?
So here's the thing. This sword sold at auction for $30,000. And frankly, the sword undersold Now, the funny thing about the auction is it wasn't the right auction to put it in. And so the collecting community didn't actually know that this was out there until after it was sold. If you take it to auction today and get it in front of the right buyers, I would imagine you're talking 75, 100,000.
Well, I think that's all I need to hear.
All right,
Thanks
that was
for
a
coming
lot.
down.
Thank you for letting me see it.
Of course, yeah.
All right. It's a lot to take in.
It is.
So, for me to be in this sword anywhere comfortable, I'd buy it for 20,000.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah.
The problem is, it's too big of a risk for me.
Right.
I'd love to offer you 50,000 for this sword, possibly even more, but it's already sold once in an open market, and it didn't come anywhere close to the reserve it was expecting.
Right.
So it's just a dangerous territory for me.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do that, especially after what he just said.
I don't blame you, man.
Now that makes me think that I should find the right auction for it.
All right, well, thanks for coming in.
Listen, I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
You too, thank you. After knowing the actual value on this sword, kind of glad I didn't sell it, and I think now I'm going to try to find the proper auction, and hopefully I can put it in front of the right people to get a better price for it.
How's it going?
Hello, how are you?
What do we got here?
This is a Marc Chagall print that I have for you.
Okay. Do you know who Marc Chagall was?
Sort of.
Very famous painter. He's a post-impressionist. You know the difference between like impressionism and post-impressionism?
Not really.
The easiest way I always explain it to people is impressionism, blurry. Post-impressionism, really blurry.
I came to the pawn shop today to sell my Marc Chagall print. I'm looking to get $1,000 for my Marc Chagall print, and I don't think I'll be willing to go any lower than that. If I sell the Chagall print today, I'll probably pay some bills.
I think this is really, really neat. Where'd you get it?
So I have a wealthy aunt, and she gave it to me, but it really just doesn't go with the decor of my house.
All right. There's probably like 24 artists in the world where you just look at their art and go, okay, that's Picasso, or Picasso-esque,
Right.
or Renoir. Chagall is one of those people. Marc Chagall, 500 years from now, they'll still be talking about his paintings and they'll still be worth money.
Cool.
He lived a long time. He lived into his 90s, I think it was.
wow.
This guy was hanging out in Paris with like Renoir and Picasso and all those guys back at like the turn of the century. I mean, just like there was all these new artists popping up everywhere and these new styles of painting. If you ever get a chance to go to Paris,
Okay.
go to the Paris Opera House. He painted the entire ceiling.
Oh, wow.
And it looks like a lithograph. Litho means stone and graph means writing.
Okay.
So it's stone writing. So originally what it was is they would take stones, I mean, a big giant piece of limestone, completely flat, and they would etch into it the image,
Oh, wow.
okay? One for each color. So on each impression, you would carve in what would be blue. You would ink the stone,
Put the paper on top.
then put like a 2,000-pound stone on top of it, and press the ink into the paper, and then move on to the next stone for the next color, and then the next.
That's quite the process.
Yes, and over the years, they've changed that process, made it a lot simpler, but that's basically lithography.
Okay.
So how much you want for it?
Maybe around $1,000 or so?
Did you get any paperwork on it?
I don't have any paperwork with it.
Okay, so we'll call it Marc Chagall-esque until we make sure it's.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, give me a minute or two. Let me get someone down here to take a look at it so we can figure out exactly what it is.
Sounds
okay?
great.
I'll be right back. I'm trying to be an artist, but sausage fingers, I barely hold a brush. So it looks Chagall.
That is an image by Chagall. So Chagall discovered lithography after he was already very, very famous. He started doing lithography at the age of 63. But the person he learned it with was the absolute master, Morlot. Chagall brought his skills as a painter and as a colorist to this medium, and he changed the standards of all lithography. This is Captain Bryaxis's dream. In fact, it's one of his most famous images. It's rumored he literally just slept on the floor of the print shop during the production of this particular work to ensure his colors, because the color was really the key to Chagall. That's the thing that set him apart.
With Chagall, usually I see like images and a white background.
Yeah, it's very dark, but this particular image is from a work called Daphnis and Chloe. It's a 2nd century Greek poem. This was put out as an illustrated book. If you look very closely, you're gonna see a bit of a crease here. And that's because this is a double panel work. So it's a little more valuable, and it's the only double panel that was in the overall set.
Okay. So the big question, what's it worth?
If this was in a gallery in San Francisco, New York, it's worth at least $8,000.
Awesome. Okay.
All right, sweet, dude.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right, good luck to you guys.
So you still want $1,000?
No, obviously. I'd like a little bit more than that now.
I understand that. I'll tell you what, I'll give you $3 grand for it.
Well, that's kind of low. He just said it was 8.
That's in a nice gallery in New York or San Francisco where they have really high markups.
Got
What's
a
your
nice
best-
establishment
what is your
here.
best price on it?
Lowest, 6,000.
I'll give you $4 grand.
5.
I'll give you $4,500, not a penny more.
I'll take 45. Deal.
Okay. I'll meet you right over there and do some paperwork.
Cool. Thank you very much.
This is what happens when you call it an expert. You pay more money. What can I help you with?
I have this signed picture.
Benjamin Harrison. Hey, Corey. It's like your great-great-uncle twice removed from your second cousin.
Do you really believe we're actually related to that guy?
Grandpa says we were.
I've met your grandfather, and he was a liar.
It was given to my dad when he was a young child, so it's been in a box for about 70 years. My parents just celebrated their 60th wedding anniversary, and I would like to send them on a trip if possible. I'm really hopeful that this is going to be my lucky day.
You know your grandfather's middle name is Benjamin, and your great-grandfather's middle name was Benjamin. They were named after him, I believe.
Whatever.
You see any resemblance?
I do.
Yeah, he's bald and he's got a gray beard.
All in all, a pretty good president. He passed the Sherman antitrust law to try and beat up the monopolies, but it was another 20 years later with Teddy Roosevelt who really started cleaning up the trusts. Where did you get it?
Well, we had it in our family for about 70 years. It was part of a photo album, and this one was signed.
Okay, this is a cabinet card. They were pretty popular from like the late 1860s to right around 1900. So a lot of people had the picture of the president in their house. How much do you want for it?
500.
I doubt if that's a signature. I'm just assuming it's someone just wrote it on there so they know who it was.
I mean, that looks like a signature.
Well, remember, they didn't print anything. Everything was written. I'll call somebody down here, but if it's not a signature, it's worth like $10. All right?
Okay, thank you.
Most cabinet cards aren't worth the paper they're printed on. So normally, this would be a pass. But a cabinet card actually signed by a president, now that's a different story. And not just because, supposedly, I'm related to this guy. Benjamin Harrison.
Our 23rd president.
According to my grandma, he's a relative of mine.
They look identical, don't they?
No comment. This size of photograph is known as a cabinet card because it was large enough that you put in your cabinet, and if you're sitting on your sofa in your parlor, somebody could see it without squinting. Cabinet cards today are actually relatively common. I've gone to book and photography shows where some dealers have binders and binders. They can be of people, they can be of scenes, and they do remain relatively durable.
Is that his signature?
Okay, well, there are two questions I have to answer first. Sometimes when these were printed up, the signature of the person was printed on at the same time. So I have to make sure that this is actually signed in ink. So I'm just gonna look through here. Yes, and it does appear to be signed in ink. It's not a printed on signature. Now, the second question is it actually the signature of President Benjamin Harrison? And I brought along some examples here. And there are a few things I look for with the Benjamin Harrison. First, there's about a 30-degree slant on a signature. So I'm gonna come over here and look. And the slant is about 30 degrees to the right, which is the way it is here. He usually signed B-E-N-J and then Harrison in full afterwards. And he has this funny little blip in the middle of the B. Now, if you look carefully, you see that little blip in the B, which is similar to right over here.
What do you think?
Well, after looking at it, Rick, I do believe this was signed by President Benjamin Harrison himself.
Oh, wow.
Okay, sweet.
Oh, wow, that's great.
So what do you think it's worth?
Well, there is one little condition with this. So if you see along here, there are all those extra lines. I don't think this is a first-generation photograph. In a first-generation photograph, the lines are very, very sharp. What some photographers did is they would take photographs of previous photographs and keep reproducing it that way. This is probably second or third generation, which makes it worth a little bit less. I do think a fair retail price for this would probably be about $1,250.
Wow. I didn't think it would be worth that much. That's great.
Yeah, people who collect presidents and presidential signed photographs would have an interest in it. They're not common items by any stretch of the imagination. It's a nice little piece of American history here.
Yeah, it really is. Wow.
Hey, thanks for coming in, man.
Anytime, Rick.
Appreciate
nice
it,
to see you
man.
again, Corey. Good luck with
Thank
it.
you. So,
So $500, no problem.
can you go a little bit higher?
I give you like $700 for it. That's the best I could do on it.
Really? Could you do 8?
Really? You just wanted 5, and now I'm offering you 7.
Right.
I have to frame it up. I have to do some other things.
Could you do 750?
I guess we really shouldn't have called Stuart in, huh?
Yeah, yeah, I'll give you the 750.
It's a deal. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, you want to write her up, son?
Come with me.
I feel that we settled on a really good price of $750. I feel that that was a fair price. It's all about the Benjamins.